Hello, we're Thaleia and Sofia, and today we're going to talk to you about our thesis, our diploma thesis on the fixed brewery in Thessaloniki and industrial complex in Thessaloniki. While living in the city and experiencing a lot of places around it, we noticed this very interesting complex that, although very beautiful and architecturally valuable, still stays empty and distant from the urban fabric. Thus, we wanted to provide our own answer to the question, what can this complex be and become in the present? That's why we created our research thesis on brewing architecture. We wanted to understand the complex. Thus, we studied the connection of the brewing process with the architectural envelope and what's the connection of it, thus drawing conclusion on how we should conserve this building and how we should restore them.
So we started by looking into the brewing industrial heritage in Greece, which rapidly grew into one of the major industries in Greece. As we can see, there were many important examples of breweries during the industrial era, although the only one still remaining today is the KAROLOS Fixed Brewery, which is our case study. Today, the industry spans from multinational companies, big multinational companies, to more independent brewers, also even nomadic brewers, who actually introduce a new perspective on our study of the connection of production and sell. And having seen a bit of the history together with the modern tendencies that start to have to be more and more popular in Greece, we understand that it's very valuable to preserve and highlight the brewing industrial heritage in our country, which inevitably led us towards the fixed brewing in Thessaloniki, in Greece, which is a unique example, as we said, and it also has a long history that is strongly related to the city of Thessaloniki. As we can see, the area is the former industrial area of Thessaloniki, which until today still constitutes a part of it, constitutes the industrial heritage of Thessaloniki, with many remnants still in the area. And the plot is strongly characterized by its connection to transportational hubs as the railway and the port. As we can see here, its connection to the waterway, to the waterfront. It was for a long time there. That is not today. And today we can understand the plot as transitional area between the urban tissue and the waterfront, which in general creates a sense of unsafety since its functions are fragmented and kind of fail to include it in a holistic zone together with the urban tissue. Looking a bit into the history of the complex, it was introduced in 1882 as an ice factory, and since then has undergone a lot of additions and transformations. In 1994, it was declared a listed building, most of its part, although until today it remains vacant and under it's collapsing basically. So looking into the form, we understand that the uses on the interior are specifically expressed by the volumes of the building. And also, on the other hand, the detailing is varying depending on the importance of the building in the complex or the era that it was built in. In conclusion, we understood this complex as a container of the production process. Every step, every alteration in the production process through the years is actually reflected in the different areas of each building, which we understand as a very important fact. So taking into account both the current situation of the buildings and the area, as well as the entire history that comes with it, we wanted to form a strategic plan with the ultimate aim to balance out this rich history that we can see both in the complex itself and the area with contemporary needs as we also could observe.
So our vision consists of 3 schematic axes that together they create a network of experiences and in reality create a complex dedicated to beer production. Next. We use uses that, first of all, a first axis refers to the conservation of the formal use, and we do that by creating a self-referential exhibition inside the complex, and at the same time we complement this use by bringing back the former use into the present by creating an actual brewery into it. At the same time, we want to establish a new landmark in our city, and that we did by giving the complex as much as possible to the public, both with the exterior organization and the users, but also letting the public go into the building. Our concept is a direct translation of the beer production process, where the product is not the beer, but it's actually the beer culture. And its production stage is one of the stops that we have created in our master plan. And here in the drawings, you can see the current situation. And with deep red, you can see the parts that we have chosen to either take away or reuse. And this refers mostly to the mechanical equipment. And here is our proposal, how we used to organize the space and change it. And then again, the same for the roof plan and proposal and the section and elevation, and how we changed the skyline of the whole complex to bring it to today. Here you see the heart of the brew house being restored. It was one of the most important spaces back in the day of the production, and it's one of the most important ones today as well. It's the heart of the exhibition. The exhibition unfolds around this space, and the exhibition itself is the heart of the new uses being placed into the historic buildings. The exhibition follows roughly the part of the brewing process, and at the same time around it we've placed complementary uses that can be combined with it. Here you can see on the left the brew house, and on the right the rest of the exhibition spaces, and on the upper level the secondary uses. We've also added microbrewing seminars, a taproom and a microbrewing, so we can actually complete the experience of the brewing of the users from past to present. The taproom and microbrewing, they are placed next to each other strategically in historic buildings with double height, so we can place again the mechanical equipment and we can have the production being made in these buildings. In this section you can see the double height opening, which allows for a flexible layout with the equipment inside, and also on the top right you can see where the exhibition concludes into the microbrewing, taking the user inside the formal use and seeing the actual production, how it's made.
So yes, this is a view of the same space, and in general, the spaces that communicate the brewing culture are chosen to complement the exhibition narrative and make it more interactive and enhance the connection of present and past further. Additionally, we created additional buildings that derive from the existing buildings. Here we can see the addition in the entrance of the plot that is inspired by the facade of the original bottling plant on the right, and the position of this building also restores a symmetry and enhances the skyline of the main facade of the plot. Also, on the other side of the plot, continuing this reference to the roof line, we decided to stay more humble and decrease our construction in size and height towards the waterfront. And this is the entrance building, which we decided to use as a nod, an introductory building that leads the user either towards the heart of the building which we thought was very necessary, or towards an open-air industrial museum. Here we can see it on the back, where we reuse the equipment that we take out, that was necessary to be taken out from the historic buildings. We reuse it on the exterior with an aim to kind of include this exterior industrial building in the entire industrial route that we can imagine that this area can have, together with all the industrial heritage around. On the other side of the building, of the float, we introduce uses of workspaces for design and marketing of brewery to enhance holistically the brewing culture. And here we can see how in the new building in these spaces, a raised volume penetrates the old building, providing at the same time visual connection without with also preserving the historic building. Further down, we introduced crops that can host additive ingredients that can actually be used together in the brewing uses in the complex itself, in the new brewing park. Also together with a cluster of lightweight structures that can work as a brewing festival space as we can imagine it. These structures are lightweight, transparent, and as far as possible openable, so they can enhance this communication between interior and exterior space. In the landscape design, we followed the grid of the landscape, and kind of tried to connect all these uses together.
So with our research, we looked into the different mechanical, technological, typological differences of breweries, and we created this proposal respecting the past, knowing the history, designing for present needs, and designing basically for the future. We believe that preservation strategies should respect the genius loci of a space, so the soul of the space, but also the historic character and the people's needs. And here in this picture, you can see the current situation. And in the next picture, you see how our building is integrated and how we want to change the current urban fabric, and how we, instead of just having an empty complex that is just passive in the urban fabric, we want to create a destination, a new valuable place in the patchwork that is our city, Thessaloniki, today. Finally, with our proposal, we wanted to provide our own answer on how to preserve such very valuable monuments, and maybe start a new conversation on how to preserve industrial buildings, and in the future maybe have this conversation go all the way to our country, because we have a very fruitful and rich network of industrial buildings in our country. Thank you very much.